Hello everyone, Hassan here, and you are listening to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode number 107, and it's all about Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, hence my announcer impression right there. So today we have our usual podcast crew here with us. We got Steve.
Hey guys.
We got Greg.
Hi everyone.
And Barry.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So for those of you joining us on the NintendoFuse podcast here, we like to make this very interactive and very fun. So there's multiple ways that you can join in and participate. This podcast is done through TalkShoe, so there's actually a TalkShoe chat room, and you can actually call into the podcast through TalkShoe and voice your opinion live on the show, which is pretty cool. Full details on how to do that are on NintendoFuse.com right now. So go to NintendoFuse.com, you'll see a post about the podcast. You'll find out how to call in. We're also doing a live stream on YouTube, so you can see all of our faces and see all the crazy antics that we do on camera. And you can join in on the chat room going on YouTube as well, so you can definitely check that out also. So lots of ways to participate, and we welcome everybody joining in. So hello to the official Dylan and Ryder Show. Posted some comments saying that he's excited for the episode, so thank you. So first things first, right before we get into the Super Smash Bros. Discussion, I just want to let you all know that we have some special little unlock codes for this game by Bandai Namco. It's a game called Tenkai Knights Brace Battle for the 3DS, and we've gotten a couple of exclusive unlock codes for special in-game items, such as weapons, shields, backpacks, SP material, and more. So if you have the game, Tenkai Knights Brace Battle, you can use these codes to unlock special items. So stay tuned to NintendoFuse.com, and soon we'll have those codes up for you all to check out and enjoy all those items and everything. So with that being said, let's get right into our Smash Bros. Discussion. Nintendo had a 50-fact extravaganza, and there was, well, more than 50 facts for one thing. But there was a lot of content. What were your general thoughts, you guys, on the 50-fact extravaganza?
We're speechless. We're still speechless. No, honestly, I mean, like, I after I started thinking about it, like, beforehand, I was like, that's a lot of facts, especially when they started actually announcing that it was only going to be 35 minutes. Like, wow, they are going to just cram this in there, and that's pretty much exactly what they did when they just started, one after another, and it took me a while to actually kind of process everything that I had just kind of taken in. It reminded me kind of the first time that I went and saw the E3 presentation back when they actually did E3 presentations for Nintendo, and just kind of like soaking it all in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this just happened. That's kind of how I felt. It was just like one thing after another. So I'm glad we have this today, because I'm just gonna kind of get a chance to process over it again, because there's probably still things that I missed or I forgot about just because I was overwhelmed by everything.
I have to say, like, my initial thoughts of it was that it probably wasn't going to be anything majorly extreme, because I was like, well, the character roster is going to be not changing. The stages, we already knew a handful of them already to begin with, and I didn't think it wasn't going to be as awesome as it was, actually. So I kind of went through with the low expectation route, and I was completely blown away by everything. Couldn't even believe the stuff that they had added in there.
Yeah, I went into it. I expected good stuff because it's Nintendo, but I didn't expect what they did overall throw out. Although a lot of the stuff is what we predicted and is in our 50 list, but there was so much more that we did not expect. And the thing that, like Steve, it was so overwhelming, just back to back to back to back, that when I would tell people, like, oh, did you see, there's this and there's this, and then someone would say, oh, don't forget about this, I'd be like, oh my god, mind blown again, oh, I completely forgot about that, that alone is worthy of a purchase, and I completely forgot about it. Like, there's so much content. And I think on top of all that, my favorite thing has actually been reading comments on all bunch of media from people, because I was already sold in the game. We were all sold in the game, but there were still a ton of people who were like, I don't have a Wii U yet, I don't know if I should buy it. And to see so many people like, I'm buying a Wii U for this game, I think that was, to me, that was the best thing. Like, because I was like, all right, you delivered the message. You advertise the way you need to. You're going to sell a lot of copies. Do this with every game.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, they really went all out with this game. And I feel like Super Smash Bros. Brawl was one of those games that it was so packed with content, I didn't think that they could do more. And yet somehow they fit in so much more into this game. And not just more of everything, but like more new modes and everything. It's insane how much they fit in here. So let's just dive right into everything they had. So first of all, the game's going to start out with more rosters from the get-go. You're still going to have the same character roster, but you're just going to have more characters from the start. So less to unlock. So for example, like Ness and Ganondorf, you won't have to unlock them. The game is 1080p, so that is definitely nice. But the next major announcement they kind of made was, and there was kind of rumors for a while, but it was finally confirmed, and I still can't even believe it. They said that there's 5-player Smash battles. Oh, no, wait. 6-player Smash battles. Oh, wait, that's not all. 8-player Smash battles. Just let that sink in for a bit. Like, 8-player Smash battles. What? Mind blown. Anybody else get the same way? I mean, I can barely follow along sometimes with 4 players. I can't process that.
You're forgetting one very important thing with that. It's 8-player, 60 frames per second Smash Battle, no slowdown on it, which is huge.
Right, 1080p and everything. It's insane.
Yeah, I kept actually waiting for them to say, now, because we really valued putting this in there, we had to lower the frame rate to 30 frames per second, but they never said it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing that they actually were able to pull this off, because I still think it's funny, like there's so many Xbox One games and PS4 games that there's like, well, we kind of had to lower the frame rate in order to get it to 1080p, or it's still 720p, but we got 60 frames per second and all this stuff. But they're cramming in all this, 8-player Smash all at the same time, at 1080p at 60 frames per second, and it looked awesome. I know the trophies and stuff like that are still 30 frames per second, which is okay. I mean, that's fine. It kind of differentiates it a little bit between the fighters, because especially when you've got that many fighters on the screen, I've seen some of the playthroughs online and everything about it. It is kind of crazy, and it's hard to like pay attention to what's going on. So it is kind of nice to have a little bit of differentiation when a trophy comes online, and on the play, because it is a little choppier. I mean, still 30 frames per second is nothing to like balk at it at all, but it looks a little different, and I think that's probably a good thing, because if it didn't, it would be nuts, like trying to keep track of everything.
I want to do a 300% all hammers, high frequency 8-player Smash with like 50 stock, just to see how absolutely insane that is.
Right.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part, is that you don't get to do the online part with that, and I understand that's a significant ask to have, and then that's more options for more time for a lag to be a bigger problem, because you have 8 different consoles connected together. So obviously that part kind of stinks, but I don't know if I'll be able to even use the 8-player Smash like with 7 actual people. I mean, I would play with 7 CPUs or whatever, 6, 5, 4, whatever of them, but I don't see myself in a situation to have 7 other people to play the game at the same time.
Right.
At least
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can do it with CPUs.
I was just saying, I don't know that I would be able to use 8-player Smash as much, but even just like 5-player, 6-player, there's a bunch of times when like a bunch of my cousins will be over, and there's like always that one person or those 2 people that can't join in, and now everybody's kind of able to jump in, which is great. And then the other part to that as well that I think is pretty cool is just how many control methods there are. There's so many ways to play the game, so many controllers, the Wii Remote Nunchuck, the Classic Controller Pro, Wii U Pro Controller, Gamepad, GameCube Controller, probably forgetting something. Heck, I'm surprised they didn't allow the balance board to be, a playable method or something with how much they had there. So I have so many controllers lying around of different types that this is perfect. Oh, the 3DS as well, So there's just so much that you can play with, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's great. I actually I forgot it. I was going to bring in and show. I haven't put it on Twitter as well. That the special it's like third party. I think like PDN or whatever that company is made it. It's like the Yoshi one. I think we were talking about last time. It's like it's a Pro controller, a classic Pro controller, but it plugs in and looks like a GameCube controller. Bought that the other day. Just kind of adds to the list. You know, it's just yet another controller that'll work. There's so many options, and I think that's going to be the kind of the one of the other crazy things. You get 8 players over, and like every, I mean, there's 8 different options, probably more than that I could actually play. So all 8 players could be playing with a completely different controller.
Yeah. Steve, is this what you're talking about?
Yep, that one right there.
There's also, I don't know if you've seen, there's the Yoshi, there's the Mario.
Yeah, Mario and the Peach one. Yep.
Yep. Hold on.
I haven't seen the Peach one in public, in the stores yet. I've only seen the pictures of them.
That's Peach right there.
Nice. I wanted to buy those, but then I don't know. I guess I'm still debating it because they're not actual GameCube controllers, right? They're like classic controllers or something that just
no.
Yeah,
like
they're GameCube.
It's a classic controller Pro that's modeled as a GameCube controller,
Yeah.
so it's a little fatter than an actual GameCube controller, and the C stick is a regular analog stick. It's the same as the left thumbstick, but it feels pretty similar.
They connect to the Wii remote, right? Just like the other
Yeah.
classic controller Pro.
Yeah, so there's probably no rumble, and I haven't actually tried it out yet, but I'm assuming there's no rumble because there wasn't in the classic controller. And then they do have the 2 shoulder buttons on each side, so 4 shoulder buttons total because it's got the ZL and the ZR as well, like the classic controller Pro does.
Apparently, these ones are compatible, unlike the GameCube controllers, with other things too, because it says compatible
because
with
it's a classic controller Pro. Yeah.
Did you see they announced 4 new ones too? Donkey Kong, Link, Wario, and Samus have been announced to have them as well.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think
it's nice to have so many
ones
control options.
that Nintendo themselves are making. I think they're making some specially designed ones as well, but those are different because those are actually going to be actual GameCube controllers that are just redesigned for Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for the Smash Bros. GameCube controller is the one that has like the Smash Bros. Logo on it, so we're getting the black GameCube controller. But I think Japan's also getting a white one, so I don't know if we're gonna get a white controller later, or I might just import that also or something. But there's so many controller options.
The original white one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that had that actual white one that had the super long cable on it that they released after the Wii came out, but we never got it in America either. So I don't know. I doubt we'd get it here. I think everybody likes the black ones anyhow. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Either way, there's so many control options, anyways.
I'll be content using the Wavebird again.
Yeah.
That Wavebird was so awesome.
I'm almost I'm almost afraid of using my Wavebird because I'm afraid like if I mess it up, I'm screwed because I can't buy it. Like they're long gone and it's so precious to me.
Sure. I have 2 of them, so I guess technically I can mess one of them up and be okay.
So let's see. One of the other things that they talked about. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just say I think that's the Waybird's actually the controller that helped me be okay with it not having rumble as well, because the Wavebird didn't really have it. So that means I'm okay to try these other options and stuff that don't have rumble either, because whether it's nice, it's not really necessary, and so I'm okay with it. So thanks to the Wavebird for kind of breaking me free of that.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the other things that comes along with the fact that we can do more players in Smash Brothers is you need bigger stages. So they kind of announced the big battlefield stage and only certain stages that you'd be able to use with the 8-player battles. But they kind of went through a bunch more stages in the game, including how certain stages have like these little danger zones. I think it was the Great Cave Offensive had some of those, that stage. There's also a stage from Donkey Kong Country Returns that has like dual plane battling, so you can kind of battle in the distance and battle up close, which is very interesting. It almost seems like kind of a 3DS kind of a stage with the with the depth, I guess, but it's on the Wii U, which is kind of interesting. And one of the other stages they showed was a Miiverse stage, which is actually going to be DLC because it's not going to be ready at launch, which is very interesting. So right there, right off the gate, they kind of confirmed, DLC, which we all kind of figured anyways. But I thought that's a really cool idea, the Miiverse stage, and how you can sort of make your own posts about your favorite characters and have them appear. So pretty cool stages. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that the Miiverse stage, I was actually expecting more out of it. I think it's cool that your messages will pop up in the back and everything, but the stage itself is rather plain, unless there's something else happening on that. They're still in development and they weren't able to show us or something. Maybe you're able to like interact with the background or something. I don't know. But I think that was kind of the only thing that I was kind of like, oh, that's it. Okay, I'm not. Cool that messages pop up in the back, but I would expect more, I guess. And I wasn't sure if that was at that point. I wasn't sure if that was actually confirming that they'd have DLC, or if that was just going to be like an update to the game, and all of a sudden it was going to be present, which is not technically DLC. And so at that point in the show, I was still kind of like, okay, maybe they're not going to do DLC for this game, because that seems like an update. But yeah, later on, it kind of seemed like it was definitely confirmed. But I love the fact that there's these huge stages, especially, if you're going to do 8-player Smash, you got to have those bigger stages. And like, big Battlefield is great, stages like that, but then all of a sudden the Great Cave Offensive, that just like blew my mind, like how much is going on in that stage was just crazy. So.
Yeah, I kind of found it shocking. Oh, go on, Greg.
Well, I was definitely agreeing with that. With the bigger stages, the Great Cave Offensive really blew my mind with the way they have all those different pads, and I was just kind of even blown away that like they have like you just get instant KO'd after 100%. That seems kind of on the lower side, but I wonder if it actually is a complete guarantee or if it just depends on the stage design. But I guess in the angles that you can get knocked off the course. But I'm really happy that Hyrule Temple returns. I put that one down as one of my favorite levels. I've been enjoying that one in Melee and Brawl, and despite it being a larger stage, I still have a lot of fun playing in like that lower section. And me and my cousin have tons of battles down there doing 2-on-2 combat against 2 computers, and it's just always insane how you can get up to like 500% in that lower portion of the level.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Final Destination was not included in the 8-player Smash, since regular Battlefield was. And I found that kind of weird. But I definitely enjoyed the aspects of the newer stages. To me, I found it most fascinating was pausing it when I went back and watched, and like looking at the stage selects and all that, and seeing some other stages there that were never even announced. The one that I think stuck out the most was Yoshi's Woolly World is getting a stage, which is really, really cool considering the game's not even out yet.
Yeah, it's a really cool stage. I've seen some other footage of it, and it's games. I'm a guy, but it looks adorable. Gotta admit it. But the odd thing about, you mentioned Final Destination. It's interesting that Final Destination itself is not going to be available, but you can play on some of the Omega forms of those other stages, which are technically the Final Destination stage, or version of those stages. So like, why wouldn't that one be available? But whatever.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is maybe the background of the stage is like so like intense with all the effects and stuff that with 8 players added on top, it's kind of a bit too much. But
that's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. All the footage we've seen of Final Destination, there's always so much like transforming and changing on that level that perhaps it obviously wasn't the best fit for 8 players at the same time.
Do you think that that New Pork City will come as DLC, considering that was a very huge stage in Brawl, even though Lucas is not there, or Lucas can come as a DLC character back with New Pork City for 8-player Smash?
Maybe.
It could happen. It could also be one of those stages they haven't announced yet as well. I mean, I imagine there's probably a ton that we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
So because of the stage screens that we saw, there were obvious ones missing that we know have been confirmed before, and they weren't there. And so that already tells me there's some space for that list to grow. And so maybe it's already there, and we just have to unlock it. Or yeah, maybe it's coming later as DLC.
Right. Yeah, who knows? Maybe. So one of the other things that they actually talked about in the little 50 fact extravaganza was that similar to the Snake Codex that they had, they're actually going to have different things with Pitt and Palatina and Viridi kind of all conversing about different characters on. I think it was on. What was the stage? It was on Palutina's Temple.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Palutina's Temple.
So they'll have that on there, and so that's kind of cool that they included that, and more Star Fox stuff on the new Star Fox stage as well. So that more of those conversations, and also we got a glimpse at a couple more bosses in the game. So Metal Face will appear on the Gower Plains stage, and Ridley, of course, after all the teasing, will be on that the Metroid stage. I forget the name of it, but
Pyrosphere.
Ridley. That's right, Pyrosphere. Ridley or Meta Ridley, depending on the situation. So they'll come there, and if you attack Ridley enough, he'll join you and fight on your side too, which is kind of cool. So, what do you guys think of some of those changes? Yeah. What were you saying, Barry?
Oh, instead, the interesting thing about Ridley is that people can actually steal him from you. So just because you get him on your side, he's not permanently there. If someone does enough damage to him, then he'll switch sides, which I thought was like total backstabbing Ridley style. Like,
right. And it's interesting that killing him will give you a KO, but you can also kill him while he's on your team, which I thought that was kind of interesting there.
Yeah, it's like do you want him to stay on your team? You want to go ahead and take that KO point? So I guess it all depends if you're probably if you're playing first time or you're playing for stock. That could depend as well. I think it was no surprise that he was there. I think it's cool that they added those other elements because I think a lot of people were just expecting him to be just your typical boss, kind of like the Oil Devil or something like that. So it was cool to see that they did some different stuff with him. What was the thing you mentioned at the beginning of this that stuff that there's a point? Oh shoot! What was the thing you mentioned just a bit ago before we started talking about Ridley? That
Metal Face.
Metal Face.
No,
the character conversations.
Yes, that's the thing that I'm not too excited about. To be completely honest with you, I think it's cool, but I think it takes away from the battles themselves. I think it's kind of a cool Easter egg, but I'm not going to be doing it too often. I mean, because every time those things pop up, it distracts me from the actual game, and I'm like, oh, what are they saying? And then all of a sudden, I'm like knocked right off the stage or something like that. So I think it's a fun Easter egg, but I'm actually not that thrilled about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's not that great. So that was one of the few times that when they were announcing things, someone's like, "Oh, that's back. Okay, whatever." But the stages, I think it's great that they're bringing more bosses though, because I think I was getting excited about the whole boss stuff for the 3DS, for all Smash Brothers, and including the 3DS, and then you get into the 3DS version, and there's not really too many boss battles at all, and so it's cool to see more of those in the Wii U version.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to point out. It's nice to see him branching off with additional bosses. Like, I thought that was one of the main features of some of the new stages. But then the 3DS version just has the two bosses, like the Yellow Devil and the one on the Flying V stage. But
a Flying Man is also too.
There's one other one.
Flying Man in the Earthbound stage is sort of a boss.
Oh, I always thought that's right. That thing's kind of weird. He always ends up attacking me on that stage. Anyways, I'm really excited for Ridley. I think that'd be really cool to have him fight for you. And I understand the point why you wanted to kill him if he was on your own team, if you needed an extra point, and maybe you was getting close to death anyways or something, and you just wanted to get yourself an extra point before the opponents did. So that obviously adds an extra layer of strategy in that regard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to like. There's each stage is just so unique with how you can win between bosses and stage hazards and so many different things, and that's always what makes it very interesting. So one of the other things that they talked about was a lot of the returning modes, many of which were not in the 3DS version, but they are brought back into the Wii U version. So coin battles, stamina battles, they have the whole special Smash mode where you can kind of make your own little matches and everything. Item frequency, which is definitely something I missed a lot in the 3DS version, and so you can actually choose the frequency of the items, not just turning them on and off. My music is back, and tons of music, 3 times the music possibly of like the 3DS version, so much. So there's plenty of composers that worked on the game. You collect CDs in the game just like before. It's insane. Challenges are back. There's more challenges to do. Lots of different modes in this game. It's exciting. What do you guys think about the music selection in the game?
I kind of expected it to really be a big list, and I don't think I'm going to be let down. And in fact, it's one of those things that actually it's something that I think I didn't appreciate video game music. I think when I was playing Melee or maybe even Brawl. I think when Brawl came out, I was kind of like barely appreciating the music and stuff, but now years later, I really do appreciate it, and I think it's things like Video Games Live and stuff like that that's really helped me really appreciate the music and video games, and now like reviewing them, I have to critique the music and critique all that stuff, and so I began to really appreciate it more, and now I get really excited when I think about all this music that's packed in this game. Like he said, I mean, if you were to just look at this music by itself, it would be tracks and tracks and tracks worth so much money, and like it's attached to a video game as well. Like not only do you get this music for $60, you're also going to get this huge video game as well. So that's the one of the big things that I am really looking forward to. I don't know how much necessarily I'm just going to let play around in just my music and let the tracks play over and over. Maybe I'll do that, kind of as background music and stuff like that. But I am excited to kind of go in and say, oh, I really like this one. I'm gonna turn it up a little more, and I want that to pop up a little more when I'm playing than these other ones that I don't like so much. I think there's the ultimate control that you have over music and all the items and being able to make up your own modes and stuff like that, I think is great, because you can really customize this game. Not only your fighters, but you can also customize pretty much every aspect of this game to your liking.
I'm also really excited about like the music portions. I know for Brawl I turned off some of the ones I didn't really care for, and then now I'll be able to do that again this time around. But I really like how they even included the various menu music from all the different games too. Like you can have the 64 menu music, you can have either the Melee ones or the Brawl ones, and even like the How to Play for one that they showed. That was just kind of weird to show there, but I really like all those different options, and that even makes me even more excited to get those CDs that we'll be getting if you buy both versions of the game, which they also obviously announced too. But I know it's going to be quite a task to unlock all the music, and that's going to be fun collecting the CDs, and not really looking forward to that aspect of it. I'm just more looking forward to when everything's all done and I can just listen to them and have all the less interesting ones turned off and all the best ones turned on. And I've really enjoyed all the music that they've had for all 4 of the games so far. I really enjoyed the Melee soundtrack. I like found stuff to like download and stuff in the past. I've had some of those tracks, and it's really cool. And really looking forward to at least bring the CDs, then I can add those to my iPod playlist as well.
Yeah, the music for me has always been a big part of the series. Even Melee, I used to listen to my college dorm and just leave Melee on in the background just to listen to music while I did homework and stuff. Like, it was just so cool. And Brawl, I did the same thing. Although I never turned off any track, I always liked to have it randomized, whatever it came on. But when they showed in the direct, like, oh, 3 times as many as the 3DS. Honestly, the 3DS version, I'm kind of disappointed in the music just because how little it is. Like every stage only feels like it has 2 songs, and I understand because it's a 3DS cart. But the fact that it has so few in the grand scheme of things disappointed me. But then when I was looking through, and I saw in the music selection there's at least 460 something tracks in the Wii U version, like my mind, like holy crap, that's more than 3 times. Like that's way more than 3 times. Like
Yeah,
the
that little graph
collector
they showed was like so far off.
Oh, so far off. But it was like, oh, just trying to think of collecting all those CDs. Like I'm gonna be like OCD, like must have every song, and I look forward to that, even though it's probably gonna put me in a hospital or something. But still, like to me, that's just amazing how many tracks they're gonna be putting in here, and just makes me wonder what DLC stuff is gonna be added to, especially with characters. Will we get new Pokemon music? Will we get new Mario music, etc.? That to me is mind blowing. Everything else, I expected. I expected Coin to come back. I expected if item frequency wasn't there, someone needs to be shot because that was missing from the 3DS version. And how could you not have it? I mean, it's just such a basic thing. But everything else is just the special matches and the stamina matches, and I just like that because it allows you to change everything up. It's not always the same 2-minute matches or 5-minute matches or 5 stock matches. You know, because as fun as the game is, when you play for 8 hours straight, 5 stock matches, it does get a little boring. You got to switch it up a little bit.
I mean, my guess is why they excluded the item frequency is maybe the 3DS couldn't handle it on high, and if you were to drop a lot of the stuff like hammers or Pokeballs that like really uses up a lot of data to like have all these extra characters on screen, I would think that was really bogging it down. So they really had to make sure it was in a limited nature about how often they show up, I guess. But
that's possible.
Yeah, I think you get it right. I mean, there's so much control they had to put into the 3DS version for it to continuously do well on that system. I think because of the limited the power of that system, and so I think they did limit a lot of the options just because they said this is what it needs to perform optimally, and if it doesn't, we might get some negative feedback, so we're just going to take that option out. I think that's probably one of the reasons why they decided to take ice climbers and some other things out too, because it could be bad. So they decided let's just cut it out altogether. But we're going to pack it into the Wii U version.
Right. And I think I kind of thought it was funny though how like throughout the video, I mean the 3DS version was fun. Don't get me wrong, but it was almost like so the 3DS version had this. But the Wii U version has so much more, and it's sort of like the entire time was like hating on the 3DS version, almost. Like when they got to the music, it was like, it's not even comparable! And I was like, oh, okay, so what are you trying to say about the 3DS version? It was pretty funny. But they really did cram so much into both games. I mean, on the 3DS, when you try and exit Smash Brothers, it has to reboot the system to like it can't even, it's using so much of the system's power. And on the Wii U, I'm sure it's probably pushing some limits too. There's just so much stuff going on in the game.
Hey Hassan,
I'm
since
excited.
you have the new 3DS.
What was that?
I was gonna say, Hassan, since you have the new 3DS with the downloaded Smash Brothers, how is it when booting up and starting, closing it and stuff? Is it still very slow, or is it a lot faster?
Boot up is insanely fast. In fact, I can even give you guys a quick little glimpse if you're on the thing too. It's insane how fast it is. But we'll continue, and then I'll come back to it, and I'll show you guys just how much faster it is because you don't have to reboot the system basically.
Every time I boot it up, I feel like it's chugging. It's like, oh, my poor 3DS is gonna die here.
Yeah. There's. I'll just go ahead and say just about the system performance and everything as well. I'm excited about just seeing how much they are pushing the Wii U because I think that was something that Smash Bros. Brawl did on the Wii, which really pushed that system to its limits at that point. And and I think there's a lot of power in the Wii U that we haven't seen yet in other games. And so I'm excited to see what Nintendo is able to get out of their own system in Smash Brothers as well.
Well, that's true, because Brawl is one of the few double-layered discs or whatever for Wii, and that I know that if you got the slightest scratch on there, like the game was like pretty much toasted. But yeah, it should be really interesting to see how it's going to run. I'm picking up digitally, so I won't have any disc reading problems or it getting damaged, anything like that. So I'm looking forward to it staying clean the whole time.
Right.
Regarding all the various modes, I'm pretty excited to see all these different modes coming into place, but one thing I'm not looking forward to is trying to beat it with every character for those challenges that they conveniently put in there. Like, oh, beat Smash Tour with all characters. Oh, beat event mode with all characters. Beat multi-man Smash with all characters. It's going to be way too much to do because there's a lot more modes in the 3DS version.
Yeah, those are those times where I kind of miss being a college student in the dorms, because it's with Melee and with Brawl, like, dude, I just left it on. My roommates were playing all the time, and then all of a sudden I come back and, like, all this stuff is unlocked, and my roommate would be like, oh, hey, I unlocked all these characters, I unlocked all these stages, and like, cool, and we just like did that together. It was kind of constantly on. Now I gotta do that by myself. Unless I just like ask my wife to do it, but she's probably not gonna do that. She's a Mario Kart player, but she's not too much on Smash Brothers, so I gotta unlock all that myself.
You're wrong, Steve. You can do 2-player through Classic and stuff and get both trophies at the same time. I am trying to bribe my wife into doing that as well, just to speed up the process and cut it in half. But you can actually do it a little faster that way.
A little faster, if I'm able to get my wife to do it.
Bribe her with cookies.
And that's also she's willing to switch up characters every time and not just be like, oh, I'll be Peach, and then next time you play, oh, I'll be Peach again. Oh, I'll be Peach again.
Which she's a huge Peach fan, so that wouldn't surprise me. I think she might go to Pikachu. She thinks he's cute, so.
Right.
So that's going to be another problem, because you got to be dedicated to wanting to switch.
Right. So, by the way, I have the games here. I can do a quick little comparison. They're on the menus right now. I did have to disable internet on the regular 3DS that I have, the 3DS XL, because it was going to update the game, because I didn't update it recently. So, by the way, Smash Bros. 3DS, there's a new update for the game out, version 1.0.3. Just like one or two minor little things, nothing really big. But so I got the regular 3DS XL and then the new 3DS here. So I'm gonna hit the A button on both, and then it's asking me to do an update, but I'm gonna skip it on the new 3DS. So the new 3DS is like a second behind right now. But if you're watching the video stream,
oh my god,
it's already loading. It's already loading, and boom, new 3DS is already gone. This guy's still rebooting. Still black screen on the old one. So I'm already in here. I could have probably already started the game almost.
Oh my, yeah. Like, that's what I feel like. It's like my PS is chugging.
Almost there. There we go. So that tells you that.
Wow.
And even going through the menus is a bit snappier too. Just trying to go through menus, it's kind of hard to show with two hands like that. But so it's definitely new 3DS. Much faster in that sense. I did try and download the Smash Bros. Demo on both as a comparison, so I did put that video up on NintendoFuse.com if anyone wants to see that, and it was faster on the new 3DS, so definitely feels a lot snappier and everything, which is nice.
It's getting my money next year then, because I feel like I'm breaking my 3DS every time I boot up the game.
Right. And if you get the new 3DS, these faceplates will destroy your wallet because they're awesome. I already have a couple faceplates and stuff, so it's great.
I'm getting the XL, so no faceplates for me.
There you go. But anyways, let's see. So we do have a question in the chat room, by the way. The official Dylan and Ryder show says, what is your favorite character? He wants everyone to tell him what their favorite character is.
I'll go first. Yoshi is back to my favorite character in Smash Brothers. I kind of strayed away from him a little bit in Brawl, but he's back to my favorite. And actually, I'm not using, which I thought was going to be one of my favorite characters again, is Pikachu. It's great, but I'm actually found out that I'm using Mario a lot more than I expected. So of the traditional characters, I would say Yoshi, Mario are some of my favorites. But of the new characters, I'm really liking Robin and Lucina, both of those two characters. So yeah.
Following Steve being my unknown twin, I also have kind of dropped Pikachu off because his move style seems to have slightly changed, so it's a lot more difficult to do a lot more damage, and it seems like he flies a lot farther now and a lot quicker. So I'm still using Yoshi more. He's still like my main. I also have Captain Falcon that I use a lot too of the returning fighters. Of the new fighters, I'm definitely enjoying Mega Man. And let's see, what's the other guy I was using? Oh, Little Mac has been another one of my killers, but I'm having trouble staying alive with him a number of times. But I do seem to get a lot of KOs, like the one battle we had with 4 of us that one night. When Barry was even noticing, like, oh, I had like 8 kills and everybody else only had like 1.
Yeah, for the returning fighters, I think I never really used them before, but Bowser has flown up there on my go-to in terms of that. Pit is still up there, and occasionally I'll do Link still. But for the newer fighters, Mega Man was my go-to for the demo, and still is. And I do enjoy Dark Pit even a little bit more than regular Pit, and Little Mac. Although when I do his side smash, I usually wind up killing myself a lot. So I wish I could disable that.
Gotcha. Yeah, for me, I'm trying to remember. I think my overall favorite is probably the Villager. So out of the newcomers, he's a lot of fun to play as.
I do forget about Villager. I use Villager a lot too. I forget about that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very interesting. His little play style. He's pretty cool. I also like Pac-Man. He's pretty fun. Bowser Jr. I haven't played as much as, and Rosalina and Luma. Those two I haven't played as much as, but they're both very fun to play as, and so I might play more. And then out of the old characters, Luigi and Toon Link are kind of my main ones, and I think from Brawl, and I kind of kept with that this time around too. So yeah, definitely a whole variety of characters. So it's always fun with Smash Brothers. So much variety. So let us know what your favorite characters are in the chat room. Looks like oh no, that Barry just posted his. I was like, oh, he posted his own thing. That's Barry. Let's see. The official Dylan Ryder show says, is Jigglypuff a character? That would be mine. Yes, Jigglypuff is in the game. Roth is in the chat room, so shout out to Roth. He says that load time. So yeah, so definitely lots of variety of characters, and you get all the same characters in the Wii U game as well. So lots to play with there. Also in the Wii U game, they kind of went through a bunch of different game modes. So Classic mode is in the game, and you can use 2 players. Although they call it Classic mode, but I feel like it's not Classic mode as it was before. Same on the 3DS, and now here it's a little bit different. They kind of changed it up a little bit, but I didn't fully understand that part there. But All-Star mode is back.
I think it's Classic as in you move along a path to play fighter after fighter in different scenarios. But that's about it, really. Both versions changed it up and how it is. It's not really Classic, but I guess it's technically Classic because it's the traditional move from fighter to fighter. But that's about it.
The 3DS version feels more classic, though, than the Wii U version looks.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's closer. They still have like the giant characters, the metal characters, the 1-on-3, 2-on-2. They have at least more variety. The ones that they showed for the Wii U version, it just seems like it's like 1 against 7, and it's just like you have to be the best of those.
Right. Yeah, they keep changing it up. So I don't know. By the way, if you're watching the video stream and you see me keep wandering off, my allergies are like killing me right now. So I'm trying to I'm like miserable right now, but I'll discuss
Here you go,
Smash
Sean.
Bros. Because I want to. Yay. Thanks.
Good. A digital tissue.
Yeah, All-Star mode is also in the game, although unlike the 3DS one, you're going to face the newer enemies before you get to the older ones, so you kind of go in reverse order. That's 2-player as well. There's an event mode, which is back, 2-player events that you can do. So a lot of the same modes are back, but now you can also do, multiplayer and stuff, which is pretty cool. But one big new game mode that they announced, Smash Tour, and it's basically it's like a little board game in a way, and you kind of you roll dice, you advance, but at the end you kind of acquire fighters as you move around the game board, and then you can battle and you can take fighters away from other people and lose them. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm going to like this so much more than I do Smash Run on 3DS. Just because I see this as, you do invite players over, if you have guys over and you're playing a lot of battles, and like Barry said earlier, 5-stock battle, you play for a couple hours, it could get old. But all of a sudden now you're able to go into this Smash Tour thing. I could see myself playing this with some friends for hours on end, just because every round is going to be different, depending on how you do and everything. And I think it's great. I think it's really cool to take those elements of Smash Run, how you can level up your characters and everything, but then you're gaining different stock as you go, which are those different characters, which is kind of like an element of the Subspace Emissary, where you kind of pick your characters, and then if one dies, the next one comes in, sort of idea. So it's kind of taken all these different ideas and put them together, and I think that's going to be a really fun party mode that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I also agree that could be a lot of fun. Obviously, it's kind of forces you to learn other characters, so you can't just have your best character every time. You'll have to actually earn them, and there'll be a good opportunity that one of your opponents will probably have your favorite character. So it forces you to be able to adapt with other characters to make use of what you have, and not just always be reliant on the same stuff because you're so accustomed to it. So I do like that aspect of it. It encourages more competition, and that way you probably won't have the same victor every time because your roster will be different each time.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I always liked Mario Party and Wii Party, so to see that with Smash Brother elements is really cool. I'm happy that there's 3 different game boards, although I hope in the future we do get some new DLC boards, because I have a feeling that those 3 will eventually get stale over and over and over again. But at least there's some variety, and it's definitely, to me, the fact that every fight at the end is always going to be a stock battle every time makes the mode infinitely better than Smash Run's randomness, which I get what they were going with, but there's nothing like having a really slow character and then getting run, and it's just like, I hate you. I just wasted 6 minutes of my life.
Yeah, I like it being random if they told you what you're going to do ahead of time, so you knew what to plan for. But all of a sudden, yeah, the same thing. I'll get be powering up my character, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, run. I'm like, oh crap, I should have been making him faster instead of more powerful. Now I'm gonna horribly lose, and whatever. So yeah, I like this. It's always gonna be a battle.
Right. Definitely.
I was gonna say, I definitely agree with that. Smash Run obviously had its problems with I was just going through with Ganondorf, and I was run, and it's like, oh boy, he's not very fast, and I didn't even see many run power-ups. The way I play, I pretty much just try to grab everything that I see. I don't really try to target particular power-ups, whether it's strength or defense or whatever. If I happen to see it, I grab it. If I don't, then there's nothing I do about it. But I don't like how you can go through a jumping course and have a character that barely jumps, and then you're going against Kirby or Jigglypuff that can jump sky high and have 10 jumps at a time.
Right. Yeah, it's really Smash Run's really a lot more about luck, and it seems Smash Tour will kind of bring a bit more skill into play, which is definitely pretty interesting. And it almost makes me Mario Party, in my opinion, the past few games has declined in quality quite a bit, but now it's this is sort of the party game that I've been waiting for in a way. Like it seems like it's going to be so much fun. So it's like, yay! It's not Mario Party, but at least it's something pretty fun that I can play. So I'm definitely excited about that. Also, what else we got here? So again, more of the same mode. Target Blast is back from the 3DS one. Group Stadium, so you can do multiplayer there. But there's also a new mode called there's Master Orders and Crazy Orders, and you sort of pick like levels of difficulty, and you try and there's just so much stuff involved. I didn't completely understand it, but you pick out like a challenge or something, and you try and complete it, and then you get stuff from it, and I don't know. It was a little. It's too much going on. I couldn't process it all.
Yeah, I think the basic they're both basically the same, except for Crazy Orders is a little more challenging, a little more crazy. But the main differences between the two is at the end of Crazy Orders you actually have to fight Crazy Hand. But really, what you get into is you're kind of choosing your own battle or choosing your own pathway, storyway, if you will, and so you'll get 3 options each time, and you're like, okay, I think I can handle this one, and so I'll go after this one. It might be an easier battle, and so the payout's not going to be that great, but you can go after a stronger battle, and the payout's going to be a lot better, and you're like kind of fighting your way through, similar to All-Star, where you can only have so much life, and then all of a sudden you kind of call a close to it. And like, okay, I think this is as far as I can go. This is going to be my last battle, and I'll cash in after this. But if it's not, if you lose, you get more risk, and you go take it further than you actually should have taken it. You're going to lose all that, and so you kind of have to, like, if you were gambling, for instance, you kind of have to call your own end and say, okay, this is as far as I'm going. I can't take it any further. I'm going to go ahead and cash out and accept all the winnings that I've got so far. So I think that's kind of a cool way of really winning a lot of stuff and unlocking a lot of things, getting a lot of gold and everything. In another way, in addition to the trophy rush run and things like that.
So, like each round, are you paying additional gold, or was that just like for the entrance to begin the game? The way like you described it makes sense. But then I remember like the screenshots, they would show like 3 different options. So then it's like, well, if you beat the first one, you pay 5,000 gold. It was showing for the Crazy Order, and then like the next one you pay 5,000 again, or was it just the one time when you started?
I actually wasn't sure on that either. If it was kind of a one-time payment or if you pay for each round. I wasn't sure on that either. Actually, Barry, did you pick up on that?
I think you pay each round. I think the way you get the ticket and you have to pay each round that you go, or at least you pay once to enter, and then you go through until you win or you die. And if you die, you don't get anything, and if you win, you get whatever you had, and then you have to go back through again and pay again to get in. At least that's the way I understood it.
Interesting. Well, it seems like there's just so many different ways to play the game. So if you wanted like any different way that you wanted to challenge yourself through the game, there's a mode for it. That's what's really interesting about it. There's so many different ways to kind of challenge yourself in this game and play through it. So that's pretty cool. And speaking of challenges, the game also has, in the 3DS version, well, okay, everybody knows Master Hand and Crazy Hand, right? And the 3DS version introduced Master Core with all its different forms. And the Wii U version had Master Fortress. I was not expecting that. That just seems so crazy and out there, but pretty awesome. So, I don't know. I've only played Classic Mode like once or twice, so I haven't even gotten to Master Core or anything. But I expect, since I am pretty terrible at facing Master Hand and Crazy Hand, I expect that I stand no chance at all of like ever seeing Master Fortress, because I think you have to play at higher difficulties or something. But that just seemed pretty crazy to me, the whole Master Fortress thing. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's definitely not something I'm going to be unlocking right away, because on the 3DS version, I was just concentrating on being classic with every character originally, and then I finally tried it with one of my better characters that went through like 6.5 or whatever, and then I lost I actually lost to like the Master Hands and that Master Core stuff on 3DS version, and then it dropped to 6, and then I was able to actually beat it that time. But he was actually really tough. I don't know if didn't know the strategy. I wasn't expecting it. Cause, like the way like you defeat the hands so fast, like the hands you don't have to go through the whole battle. You only have to hit them like 10 times each or something, and then they like break apart, and then you fight Master Core, and then you don't even see his health bar, so you have no idea what to expect while you're fighting him. And that's what's the really tricky part is because he does a lot of damage and seems to easily kill you, but you have no idea how much health it takes to hit him.
Yeah, Master Core is definitely a unique end villain, and there's still so many unknowns about the fortress. Like, do we have to do a certain objective in a certain amount of time to beat the fortress? Is that it, the fortress? After you beat the fortress zone, do you suddenly have to fight the Master Giant and then the Master Beast and all those down the line again? Or is it fortress and that's it? Like, there's so many questions that I'm excited to see what it's like, but I still don't know so many things about it.
Yeah,
it seems like it'll probably be like the 3DS version, and you just transition through each of the forms, and the Master Fortress is just the final form of it, and then once you destroy the fortress, it's classic mode ends.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what I gathered from it.
I consider him the top form, not the bottom, but you're very well. He could very well be the bottom form instead of just fighting the orb itself.
Well, it seemed like in one of the final shots, it looked like the Captain Falcon had destroyed one of the orbs inside of the fortress, and that looked like it was going to trigger the end or close to it or something like that.
I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So one of the other things that they had in the game as well was, I think we kind of all speculated about what they would do between the 3DS and Wii U in terms of connecting the two games, and they really didn't do too much. I mean, you can use the 3DS as a controller, and you can carry over your custom characters and everything, which, by the way, I think I read that if you bring over a custom character from the 3DS to the Wii U, you cannot edit it on the Wii U or something like that. So that's kind of annoying. I don't know why they did that. I'm not sure.
I think they did that to stop people from getting like the most powerful stuff on the 3DS, bringing it to the Wii U, and then taking it off the character and giving it to another one.
That's true. If you have to unlock it again on the Wii U, it would kind of be unfair to like be able to bring everything over from 3DS. But at the same time, I kind of like that. If I'm gonna be making my characters the same, like I'd probably try to. It's kind of nice that they won't get uneven, I guess. If I brought him over, he's going to stay the same. If I make some changes, I need to bring him over again to replace the other one. Just because there's no way of like syncing, the two. It'd be cool if there was a way to kind of really just synchronize every change you make on one changes on the other. But since there's not, I kind of don't mind the fact that it doesn't. You're not able to change like a one you brought over through 3DS.
Yeah, it kind of was looking like it after you brought it over. Like obviously you couldn't change it, but then I don't even know if it unlocks the equipment for like to create new fighters on the Wii U. It just seemed like it just retained what you had brought over, and you'd be able to use it, but then you couldn't change it, and then you also couldn't take those elements and make new characters with it either.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed to me as well. So it might be kind of useful initially to use custom characters, but then maybe later on, once you unlock everything in the Wii U version, you might as well, create your own custom ones there or something. That's kind of how I see that going, I guess. So one of the other things they had in the game, so trophies, of course, are back. There's more trophies to collect, but there's like tons of trophies in the game. Final Smash trophies are back. There's also Trophy Rush and everything. And Photo Studio looked pretty cool. It seemed very robust with how you could take pictures of everything, and there's some cool little images that they made with all the trophies. I thought that was pretty cool. Masterpieces is also back, so we do have kind of like the demos of all those games, and there are actually links to the eShop to go and buy the full games as well. So a lot of the same stuff from previous games are back again, but with even more things, which is definitely a big plus there. But I wanted to talk a little bit about amiibos. So, we kind of seen them before and everything, but I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures that have been floating out there. So we've seen the amiibos at all these events and everything of what they look like, but now we have actual retail release images, and the quality is just not as good as all the images and everything was. I mean, it was somewhat to be expected a little bit, but still, some of it is. It's a little disappointing. I mean, I'm still going to collect them all because I'm a collector, and I still think they look, decent, I guess, and it's still kind of fun. But I can't help but be a little disappointed, though. I don't know. Did you guys see those pictures?
I think disappointment is kind of how I felt. I mean, like you said, it's kind of to be expected. I mean, especially at that price point. I've seen what the Skylanders look like. I've seen what the Disney Infinity toys look like, and they're cool. But really, the build quality of those initial amiibos were definitely better than Skylanders and Disney Infinity toys. So I kind of don't. I'm not surprised that they backed off the quality some in the final build, just because they need to hit that price point. They probably do need to back it off a little bit, but overall I'm a little bit disappointed, only because I saw, I guess, what they could have been. If they never shown what their initial design, I wouldn't have not thought another thing about it. Because we've seen them look better, that's what I think where the disappointment kind of comes in.
I guess it's a good idea. I didn't really check those out. I mean, I thought I saw some postings of it, but I didn't really look too closely at it. The one I did see was the Wii Fit trainer. It looks like it had a cast around the foot, just so it gives it extra support for the stand that it's on. But that was the only one that really stuck out there. I remember reading about it. I didn't really see anything else that really affected some of the other ones. But
yeah, it's mostly less detail. Is where you're going to see a lot of the stuff where, one of the big ones is Peach's dress, or it just kind of looks it's not as detailed, not as the colors are slightly muted and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was some engraving on it before, and now it's just paint or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw that emerge this week, I was a little disappointed. Like Hassan, I'm still gonna get them because I'm a collector. And I still wish that they were the original release, and like Steve said, also the fact that we saw what they could have been makes it a little bit worse. I could get by on Peach's dress. I can get by on the Wii Fit cast because I understand maybe some kids might want to break it or play with it. I understand Marth's sword had to get limp so kids didn't poke each other in the eye. The thing that I understand why Link also has a thicker stand to hold him up. What I don't understand is why they made it urine yellow, because it really looks like he's pissing or in a urine waterfall or something. Why? Why couldn't it be clear like the Wii Fit boot? Why does it have to be urine yellow? That doesn't. It just. No, I understand. Just that to me is the kicker.
Sure. And he's kind of facing a little downward too. I feel like he needs to stand up a little more too. But that's not as bad as the stand being yellow. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get why they couldn't just have a simpler pose. I mean, some of them look like they obviously needs the little pole to prop them up. Why couldn't he just be standing on one foot if he was running or something? Why does it have to be he's jumping in midair so the floor pull up to support him?
Because it's the Smash Brothers trophy. If you beat Classic on the 3DS, the trophy pose for the characters is what the amiibo pose is, so it has to match.
Sure. So it's bringing these digital trophies that only exist on screens now to real life, and they're realizing, oh, this can't really happen like it does on a screen, so we're gonna have to add a yellow pole to it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, the yellow, I have no idea where they got that one from.
I mean, if they were doing it, wouldn't they have designed the trophy? They could have fixed the trophy in the game to be a different pose to where it could be reproducible.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the same thing that they have on the character select screen too. Same pose. Once you select the character. So I don't know. I guess they could have tried to. They probably didn't even think about it. I bet you Amiibo came later on after they started developing a lot of these renders, and then they were like, well, we don't feel like going back and changing those, and then it just kind of stuck with it or something. That's my guess.
Yeah, it is interesting. I didn't realize. I think when Amiibo were first announced, I thought there was only going to be initially just kind of a normal like one, I guess, Amiibo per character, and then now they're starting to talk about that. The first edition is going to be these the Smash Brothers versions of them. So there's probably going to be another Mario that looks different. There's going to be another Link that looks different down the line. Maybe he's going to be connected to the new Zelda Wii U game. He's going to look different in that, and maybe he's not going to have some yellow pole at that point. Hopefully, but I think they're gonna kind of vary them up for the different versions of each Amiibo that they bring out for each character. Maybe for different games or sets, or I don't know how they're gonna do it necessarily. But hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes on these first ones and kind of get better as they go.
Well, I figured that when they first showed the packaging, it does specifically say Super Smash Brothers right on it, so I figured there would be more. But I don't know if you saw, but there's a picture out there, and it's so sad. It's of the Kirby Amiibo, and the poor Chinese kid who put the stickers on didn't put them on right. So, like, his first eye is here, and his second eye is, like, right here, and it's completely off-centered, and it looks like he's retarded Kirby, and it's so sad.
Yeah, it's...
I'm just kind of happy they're also like using it for multi-purpose because I mean they already announced that only the Link trophy would be playable with Hyrule Warriors, so I was kind of excited for that.
I wonder if Zelda will be as well, though.
I would think so. I mean, I have to add support into Hyrule Warriors, so maybe they might add in Zelda and Sheik and stuff like that too.
At least the four: Ganondorf, Zelda, Sheik, and Link.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what else they do with Amiibo in the future. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I figured it
out.
out.
Collecting them all though, as weird as they look now, and all the pea-colored stands that they have, I'll still be collecting them all. So
I get it now. If you use the Link Amiibo in Hyrule Warriors, if you play as Link, you run around peeing everywhere as you run around, and it helps you do extra damage.
I want to see he's doing a spin attack.
Yes, it just goes everywhere.
This podcast went in a whole different direction. Thanks, Nintendo. It's all your fault. You and your pea-colored stands for your Amiibo. It's all your fault.
I'm sure it's supposed to be like an imitation gold kind of thing, but it didn't really. The way the light hit it, or whatever the way they showed it, obviously doesn't look gold at all.
Yeah, that's actually my guess. Is it was probably supposed to be gold, but it did not end up gold. At least the pictures that we've seen make it not look gold at all.
Oh, it doesn't. It looks gold in the golden shower sense.
I think I'm like my allergies are killing me. I think Chestnut's gonna take my place for a bit, so he'll be on camera. Pokemon fans, there's Chestnut right there. But what I was gonna say, so the other thing is the tournaments are coming back in the game. Hey, you can do up to 64-player tournaments and everything, which is definitely pretty cool. But also, tourneys online, yay, that's pretty sweet. So I'm very excited about that, and we're able to kind of organize tournaments online, which seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think it's one of the things that we had kind of predicted. We weren't really sure how it was going to work out. We were hoping that it would be online, and that's cool that they're going to bring him online. Although not at the beginning, not at the start, but it is cool that they're going to be coming at a future update, which is really nice. I'm interested to see how that's all going to work out, because I think that could be really fun. I think especially for places like us that have sites and everything that can run official tournaments and stuff like that. I think it'd be really fun. But just seeing some cool stuff from Nintendo as well. Do an online tournament themselves and having some fun with other players online in tournaments could be really cool.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that they had it for both, like, pretty much online with anyone, and even just like having it online with like your friends. I thought that was going to be a really cool expansion of the tournament mode, and we had picked both of those in our predictions. So I thought that was really cool to be able to do it. I was slightly disappointed to see if they did change it up from like the melee version, where it was just more like one-on-one for that one, and this one is the all four-player one. So it's like four players all the way down to even up to the final battle. But it still will be pretty fun though.
Yeah, it seems like it's. I mean, the brawl tournaments. I think you could do 4 players, and those. I think it seems like it's just going to bring the brawl tournament back, that kind of style, and just kind of advancing it and making it bigger and everything, and taking it online.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited about them, but it's one of those things that there's so many other things going on in the game. I don't know when I'll ever get to tourney, but they aren't even going to be there at launch. They said they're coming later on. Like, it's still not ready.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how many things aren't available at launch, like that they're going to be releasing later on, which is really interesting. I mean, like, they're still rushing to get this game out, and there's a lot of things that they're going to have to bring in at an update later on. We're probably finally talk about characters as well, and it's just like it's interesting. Packing so much into this game, and they're like, okay, I guess we got to meet our deadline. But that is the great thing about modern games, I guess, is that you can release updates that will put other things into it later. You can meet that deadline, you can get it out there, but at the same time, throw all this other stuff that you didn't have time to in the beginning, which is cool.
Agreed.
I mean,
Yeah.
I obviously understand like the Miiverse stage not being ready because probably they need like to make sure that community is set up, and we also probably want to see the stuff that people are posting in the community and then how that can affect like the stage. And so I understand like how that wasn't really a part of it. And tournament mode obviously is probably not something big. I don't know if you really need that right off the gate, but obviously everyone's going to be wanting to be playing with their characters, unlocking all the stages, all the music, and you gotta really be focused on that stuff. You're not gonna like buy the game like, oh, I gotta go right into a tournament and let's just do it that way. That's more of like something that you'll want to play after you've like harnessed all of the skills, you've unlocked quite a bit of the game, and you're ready just for new challenges and stuff like that. And I think with the game update later on with the tournament mode will be fine and help extend the life of the game. Like how we're getting that Mario Kart 8 DLC like next month already, so it'll encourage people to start playing that game again as well.
Don't forget about the awesome Hyrule Warriors DLC that came out this month. That was great too.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, DLC is definitely going to be a good thing for these games, especially Smash Brothers. But also, speaking of online play, one of the other things I talked about was voice chat, which at first, when they said it, like voice chat, I was like, what? Voice chat? Yes! And then, like, it was almost like fine print, but they said it, like, really, like, quietly, kind of, voice chat will be disabled while playing, or something like that. And I was like, oh, really? So it's just like Mario Kart 8, So it's still nice, I guess it's definitely still nice before and afterwards, but it's so much fun to actually, to talk while you're playing online as well, especially, like, I think after one of the podcasts last time, we all played Smash Bros. 3DS online, and it was so much fun just, like, talking to each other while we were playing and everything, and so to have that, I think that would definitely be a huge plus.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's great that they announced why, because like just telling us why makes sense, especially because so many people were upset with how the online play was for Brawl, and so I think one of their goals is probably to do online for the Wii U version as good as they can get it, because people were so upset about Brawl's online. And so for them to kind of say, okay, this is the reason why we've disabled it during gameplay, I think makes a little more sense. I don't quite understand it. I think they probably could have figured it out because there's so many other games that have figured it out, other companies that have figured it out. But I do understand why. But at the same time, I actually been thinking about this a lot since we played online, and I was thinking that I wonder that while it's convenient to have it within the system itself, there's so many other ways to do things like this that we're doing right now, and other ways to kind of chat while you're online. Is it as important to put it in the game as it once was when it was so new? Because we can easily just jump on Skype, or we can jump on here, or we can jump on so many other ways and have that chat in other third-party ways. And so I'm not as disappointed because I know that there's other ways to actually chat during my games.
Well, the reason that they don't have it versus so many others that do, as you put it, is because Microsoft and Sony each have dedicated servers that are strictly used for nothing but online play, which is why you pay for Xbox Live,
why you pay for it,
why you pay for PSN. And since with Nintendo, each game has their own server that we don't pay for, it's free. They're smaller servers, so there's limited what they could do. If Nintendo said Nintendo Network is $5 a month now to be on it, and it was still no voice chat, there would be a whole different ballgame. But because it's free, that's the reason why. Which sucks, but that's the reason why.
Plus, I also I was gonna add a little small part. I guess it's also because of all the immaturities that's shown on Xbox One that Nintendo's scared to unlock that completely for Wii U and 3DS, especially for games that need it, for like Smash Brothers, and things are going to get heated. People are going to be using bad language, and then obviously it's meant for a game of all ages, so obviously they want to protect their younger consumers as well, which also sucks for us.
Yeah, I think it all depends too. I mean, I've had other games that I played that do have voice chat within the game on Wii and Wii U, and it's fine. It's not bad. It's not like the game suffers really. So I know some people have figured it out and some people do it well. But like I said, I think just because of the world we live in nowadays, I'm not as disappointed. Just because I know if we want to play, with NintendoFuse, guys, we can hop in so many other ways and still be able to talk during the game. So it's a hassle because it's not integrated fully, but it's not that big of a deal.
That's true.
Right. But what is a big deal is some of the new features that they announced next. And one of the other things that I thought was pretty cool was the way they use the Wii U gamepad in Smash Bros. Wii U. You can not only can you take pictures and like draw on your pictures and everything, which I thought was kind of fun, but the stage builder's back, and you can like draw the stage, which was like, whoa, that's crazy. So you can pretty much draw out the platforms that you want, whatever shape and stuff, and that right there blew my mind because it makes it so much easier to build stages. It's like instant, it's natural. You just draw, boom, it's there. So, what did you guys think about that?
I agree. I initially, like we've talked about this many times. Customization, stage builders, things like that, even Disney Infinity's toy box. I love how other people use it, but I'm not the type of person that's going to go in there and make these huge worlds because, number one, I'm not that kind of creative person, but I appreciate other people that do it, and number two, I just don't have the time. But things like this is awesome because I've made a few stages on Brawl, and I think it was fun. But it was just kind of putting the existing pieces in. It was pretty plain. This totally opens it up for whatever I decide. Maybe I'm not being creative at all, and I'll just kind of like blindly draw something on the stage. That works. They'll just make it into some stage, and it's awesome. And I think for those creative people that do want to really pour a lot into it, some of the designs that they showed, even on the video, were just incredible. Like being able to create 8-bit Mario and be able to play on him and stuff. That's just it's amazing. And I think it's really going to open it up. And I'm excited to hear that they are going to be enabling sharing of those stages and stuff, because that's going to be huge. I mean, if you're creating these stages and they're just for yourself, whatever. But it's all of a sudden you're able to share them with other people. That's where it's really going to open it up and expand this game for the long haul. People are going to be playing over and over and over again, not just because of Brawl or just because of normal Smash Brothers, but because they get to really expand it and customize it even more.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed with the way they changed up the stage builder. It's definitely a lot easier. It's definitely less bland. You don't have like the same blocks. You have to like line up one by one and do it. You can just boom, draw. It's there. Boom. You can add right in those danger fields too, and it seems like they have like all the different options right there too. I'm just hoping you don't have to unlock each of those parts, because I think that's going to add a lot more stuff to find and to do. But I guess we'll see when we get there. It might be fully available to use all the different tools right off the bat. So, I can't say anything about that.
They'll probably be hidden behind challenges, of course. But yeah, like everybody, I was completely blown away when I saw that. To me, it was just I used the Brawl stage builder, not as much as I would have liked. I mainly used it to cheat at getting stickers from Sandbag a lot easier by pushing them up against the wall in the conveyor belt. But you know, this seems so much more intuitive to me, and I'm definitely gonna mess around with it. And it's funny, it's another feature that's not in the game yet, is the sharing. Probably because they want to let all the penis stages get out of the way before they let that sharing go. But I'm just really, you know, it kind of harkens back to when they announced Mario Maker, and I came to the realization that every day I come home, there could be like 1,000 new Mario levels to play through, and it's like, wow, mind-blowing, this game will never end. And now it's the same thing with Smash. Every day you come home, there's all these new Smash stages, and, you know, I've seen what people have been able to create with even lesser tools in some regards with games like Little Big Planet and now with Project Spark. And now to see it here, you know, I wonder what people with all this extra time are going to be able to do. Minecraft, I've seen people create Zelda levels and stuff, so wonder if they'll actually try to recreate Zelda 1 levels or something, you know, on the large stage, and how awesome that would be.
Yeah, for sure. I think like what you guys said, it's really cool to see what other people are able to create, and I think Steve said it as well. I don't create as much, but it's cool to see what other people create. That's like with Disney Infinity, you know, same thing there. So I'm definitely excited to see what else people create. And the sharing is coming later, as was mentioned, but you can also share. I think they said they're planning to share replays and I think photos and other stuff as well. So lots of possibilities there, which is pretty cool. I like that. You know, I like having that connectivity and being able to, you know, share other things with your friends, which is definitely nice. So with that, they kind of almost ended the 50 fact extravaganza, although they kept going, like with number 51, 52. It's like, you cheated. You forgot how to count. You said this was 50 facts, and they just kept going.
Because 53 doesn't really have that same ring to it.
54, actually. It was 54.
Well, to be honest, they used like Classic Mode and All-Star Mode, and those weren't technically exclusive to the Wii U and completely new. It was a different representation of Classic Mode, and obviously All-Star Mode, all they did was just flip the order that you did. So I would argue that those two weren't particularly new details, and you might even be able to argue that seeing the resolution in HD wasn't completely new, because obviously you knew it was going to be there since they announced the game in the first place. So.
Sure. And this next thing wasn't quite new, although it was still pretty cool, though.
Right. Yeah, they played up a huge character reveal trailer, which ended up being the character that we've all kind of already been playing as on the 3DS, which is Bowser Jr. But I do like their little character reveal trailers. They're definitely pretty fun. And
it was pretty epic, this one. Like it was one of the best. Some of the reactions and everything was like, I went ahead and took some of the screenshots of it just because it was so cool. And I think that they're gonna be like my wallpaper on my computer or something, because it was a really cool trailer, reveal trailer. I only wish that it would have been before the 3DS version came out or something, though, before we actually knew that he was going to be in, because that would have been, I think, more timely. But nonetheless, it was still a cool video, though.
Right. Yeah, and I'm glad that, as one of the other things they mentioned after this, was that all those movies you'll be able to watch on the Smash Bros. Wii U game. And they are making one for Duck Hunt. They teased an image of it as one of the pictures of the day or something, so that is coming. I don't know if they'll ever reveal it in like a Nintendo Direct or something before the game comes out, so maybe, announce your first Nintendo Direct before November 21st, But if not, you'll still get the video on the game, which will definitely be pretty cool. And then they kind of talked about. So it seemed like the Direct ended, or the 50 Fact Extravaganza video ended, and then they just kept going. And then Club Nintendo Soundtrack, they did a reminder of that as well. So we have those CDs coming, and each one has, 30 tracks?
36.
36, okay, that's
36.
right. Yeah. So 36 for the 3DS, 36 for Wii U. And so they showed us the whole track listing and everything, and lots of great tracks were on the CD. So definitely register if you're buying both games. Register on Club Nintendo to get the CD. You don't want to miss that. But also, the one final thing, your final incentive to buy both of the games. Dun 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 dun! It was Mewtwo is on the way.
Oh my gosh! That was my impression of all the people that I saw reacting to it online. It's like
I
weird,
saw the video.
But I mean, there's a lot, and people are really, really excited about it. I'm not personally a huge Mewtwo fan, but because I know people that are, I totally could kind of resonate with them a little bit. I did not freak out like that, but do yourself a favor. After you get done watching this podcast, just go. You can even pause it now. We're almost done. Just go and write Mewtwo reaction videos and just sit back for like a half an hour and just like laugh along with us. They're great. People are freaking out because Mewtwo is going to be back.
It is pretty hilarious. I was watching some of those the other day. I was like, wow, really? Like somebody's like screaming like they were like dying right there. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, for some of these people, I think it's like the best thing that's happened in their life like all year long.
Yeah, but no, it's still pretty cool that Mewtwo's back because it means a lot of different things. First of all, it means we're getting more characters. Second of all, it means returning characters are on the cards possibly. Maybe Lucas eventually, or some of those other guys that were cut before. And then Mewtwo, I'm sure, will kind of get changed up a bit. He'll probably have a new Final Smash for his like Mega Mewtwo, thing. So there's a lot that they could do with it. So the one interesting thing was he's not coming out until spring. In fact, it seemed like this was just in the planning stages almost, because they just showed us like a static like image of his trophy or something, and that's pretty much it. So it's not coming out till the spring. I mean, I can understand because they still have to work on like the tournament mode and the sharing and all that stuff. But that still does seem quite far away. So I don't know if they're also working on other DLC along with it, maybe, and they're just haven't announced all of it yet or something. Who knows?
They'll probably do a DLC season pass like they did with Hyrule Warriors and Mario Kart 8 and Mario Golf on the 3DS, where you'll get an incentive for buying them all at least early. But it would be great if they did the returning characters, and great if they added some new ones. I think it'd be funny if they brought Roy back from Fire Emblem and they made the crowd chant "Roy's our real boy," since they stole Roy's chant if you play as Roy Koopa. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I think personally, I think it's probably they're spreading it out. Number one, because they want to do it well. This is something that the fans, especially a lot of the tournament people, these huge Smash Brothers players are really excited about Mewtwo coming back, and so they want to do him well. They want to do the entire game well, and so I think they're going to take as much time as they can to do it well. But at the same time, I think it's similar to Mario Kart, where they're trying to spread it out a little bit too. If they spread out, the more they spread out that DLC, the more they spread out those updates, the more the people are going to be playing their game for a little longer as well. It's going to kind of give it a new, renewed life, if you will, months down the road, where some casual players are going to fall away a little bit. All of a sudden, oh hey, there's something new to the game. I'll pick it up and play it again. So I think there's a little strategy in that as well. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's just going to take some time to really do it well, but at the same time, there is some strategy in prolonging the life of this game.
Yeah, I hope they do it like Hyrule Warriors, where every other month there's something, instead of like every 3 months or something, because as much content as there is, and as much stuff as there is for Smash Brothers, there's also all these other games coming out in a 3-month period that, they're still fighting for your attention, and they're fighting against themselves with Captain Toad, and NES Remix is coming, Ultimate NES Remix, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire the exact same day. So they're even competing with themselves for your attention. So they need to do something to get you back, and it can't be too long in between.
Right. Yeah, that was a terrible decision of Nintendo to release both those games on the same day. I'm not happy about that, because I'm going to download both. I'm getting both, but I guess I'm not playing Pokemon for a while because I'll be busy with my favorite game ever, Smash Brothers. So why would you do that?
They did it last year. Mario 3D World came out the exact same day as Link Between Worlds.
It doesn't make sense to me, because everybody's always like, Nintendo has such this gap of releases, and you have these major titles, and you decide to release them all at once on the same exact day,
Yeah.
Nintendo marketing team.
I mean,
apparently.
I understand releasing them at the same similar time, because they want to get them out for holiday. They want to have big numbers for holiday. But a week apart, maybe 2 weeks apart, that's fine. I understand. Some Pokemon fans are gonna be really mad at me, but it'd be okay if you release it 1 week later or 1 week earlier or whatever. This is a remake, so probably it's not going to be as much development as they put in Smash Brothers. So release it 1 week earlier or something. I think it'd be okay if they spread them out just a little bit. But yeah, it's weird being the same day. But I don't know. I think they're probably also banking on a lot of people, it having life for more than just that one day. So I don't know. It's weird because they have those huge gaps. But then all of a sudden they do stuff like this too. So
you never know.
I can see that perspective, but I don't know how many. I'm not a Pokemon fan, so I'm not going to be getting those games, so it doesn't really affect me as much. But obviously, I did get 3D World and Link Between Worlds, but it's also kind of caters to two different audiences. There's not everybody that has stuff like both consoles. This Direct told a lot of people, hey, I need to get that Wii U now. I need that to get Smash Brothers for Wii U, and then there's even some people that only have Wii U, and they're like, well, darn, now I need to buy the 3DS version because I want free Mewtwo. I saw that in a number of comments on various videos as well, especially those reaction videos. It was like, I really hate that I have to buy 2 games. What the hell is up with this?
Even though they said that it would be made available as well.
Yeah, I think I actually wonder if if they're going to be doing any sort of thing like they didn't announce it, but I wonder if later on they're going to say, okay, yes, you will get Mewtwo if you download both games, but at the same time, we understand we'd love for you to buy our other game, but we'll also give them to you for $2.99 or something, as a separate download. We'll give them to you free if you have both games, but if you don't have both games, pay $3 for them or something.
I have a question. And this is a real question because it poses directly for me. Obviously I'm getting the Wii U version, like all of us. I have the 3DS version. My wife has the 3DS version. Will both 3DSs get the free Mewtwo, considering 2 3DSs, 1 Wii U? Or will they be like, no, you have to buy a separate Wii U copy to get a free Mewtwo, which would just be like a piss in the face to people who support and buy an extra copy. Because
my guess is it's probably going to have to be connected to the same Nintendo ID. So if your wife has a separate account with a separate Nintendo ID that's also attached to her 3DS, I think you should be able to get it on both. That's just my assumption, because that's how it would work with just one. And they've been saying that a lot more things are going to be attached to that Nintendo Network ID. And so if she has her own account on the Wii U that's her Nintendo ID that's also the same as her on her 3DS, I think she should be able to get it too.
I would hope so, because otherwise it'd just be alienating people who gave an extra $40 for a separate 3DS version. And well, Nintendo likes alienating their fans. Look at what they did with the collector's editions in America. So who knows?
Actually, you can only get it if you go to Club Nintendo and the first 100 people in line. Or not Club Nintendo, I mean the World Store.
Nintendo World Store, yeah.
Yeah.
And only if you kill 3 other people with a wooden object.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's either what Steve suggested or it's gonna be somehow linked to Club Nintendo. So I know they've been doing that with like Hyrule Warriors a lot, with linking to Club Nintendo. So they'll see that you registered both the 3DS version and the Wii U version, but obviously that limits it like one per household kind of thing. So therefore, one of you might not be able to get Mewtwo. But obviously, I do understand that if they do it the way Steve said. I mean, that seems like it'd be the smarter way, because you're less likely to have additional Wii U's in the household as opposed to 3DS's. So
yeah,
I would hope that they would consider it that way, but I have a feeling that it might be connected through Club Nintendo.
Or maybe when you register in Club Nintendo, you'll get like four codes from Mewtwo or something. Kind of like how they did one of the demos for Smash Bros. Yeah. You get 4 codes, you know?
Maybe, because I do know a lot of families who have multiple 3DSs for their kids and one Wii U, and they bought like multiple copies of Smash for their kids to play against each other, and then to say, oh, well, only one of you gets Mewtwo, like that's gonna create a shitstorm.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, but I'm definitely I don't know. I'm excited about the possibilities of DLC though. Definitely looking forward to what they do with that. So that kind of wraps up the Smash Bros. Wii U 50 facts or 54 facts extravaganza. Lots of details about the game. This game is packed full of content, and it's exciting. November 21st. We are less than a month away from the launch of Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo Wii U, and yeah, I'm definitely excited about it. So we're definitely all looking forward to it. So what I would recommend to anybody listening or watching, check out NintendoFuse.com. Add all of our Nintendo Network IDs. We'll play online whenever the 20s are set up on Smash Bros. We'll all face off, and it is going to be a blast. I'm excited for it, so definitely take advantage of that. I also want to give a shout out to the official Dylan Ryder Show and Roth and Nerd Games for being in the chat and participating as well. So shout out to them. Anything else you guys had to add for Smash Brothers?
It comes soon enough.
Yeah, exactly. So that pretty much wraps things up. So definitely stay tuned to NintendoFuse.com for all our reviews and the latest news on everything. One quick little thing I wanted to mention here. I'll be posting up a video soon about this little fun little thing. It's if anybody's heard of the Raspberry Pi, I bought it and I set it up, and I got a little Wi-Fi adapter here and an SD card. And what this fun little thing allows me to do once I plug it all into my router is this is a Street Pass hub, and I can get like unlimited Street Passes basically. So if you're somebody that's missing out on Street Passes, check out NintendoFuse.com soon, and I will post a video showing you guys how to set this up. It's very simple to do. It is a little pricey, but well worth it. I've been getting constant Street
Or you
Passes
could just
on my
walk
3DS.
by Hassan's house a lot. Yeah, that works too.
That too. So that's another option. But yeah, definitely check it out.
The
address is 123.
I was actually telling someone the other day who hardly gets any Street Passes. I was like, dude, you just walk around Best Buy sometimes. I just like walk around. They probably get sick of me just walking around the store, like carry my 3DS in. look at things, don't buy anything, walk out of the store just to get some street passes.
I did that at McDonald's too.
Right. Although I heard ever since the latest 3DS update, people haven't been getting as much hits from the Street Pass relays and stuff. So that's kind of been a big issue there. So one thing about this is it actually cycles through a ton of relays. So that's why you get like constant Street Passes essentially. So it's not just like one relay point. It's just cycling through a whole bunch. So you're constantly getting Street Passes and everything. But yeah, anyway, so that's just one little thing I just wanted to kind of let everyone know. It's going to be up on NintendoFuse.com soon, as well as those codes for that other game I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. So lots of fun stuff on the way. So that's that. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, and we will see you guys later.
Have a good night.
Later.